Welcome to the first episode of AceCast, the just episode name that just took over Pokemon tier history. It felt weird for me to just, randomly change a name of something. And I don't know. I like this series. I liked it when I started. And it really has always felt like a podcast to me. I don't know why. So that's where kind of name comes up with. Yes, Pokemon tier history. I do talk about the history of the tiers and other Pokemon. So that kind of was it. But there are also times where I will give you guys advice and things of what I think about on like current events and things like that. And that's obviously not history. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when I talk about other things like tournaments, VGC, and, anything currently happening. So in this episode, I talk about prediction and decision making, which could go into the I guess just little tips and, analysis of like any kind of advice I could always give you guys. And I hope you guys like it and let's just see where it goes. So first thing about prediction, yes, it's just a glorified guessing game, I guess, in Pokemon. And in Pokemon, we do it a lot. That is pretty much all we ever do is just predict on what's going to happen. That's all we talk about for whatever move's going to happen, whatever they're going to do. Hopefully try to think a few turns ahead, read the opponent. And because theoretically, if you outpredict and you get more predictions than they do, they win. Or you win, I mean. For many players, some could argue, yes, it's luck. That's also true. And, they just lucky guess, things like that. But there is a difference between guessing and prediction. Guessing is just having no prior knowledge of the situation at hand. You could just say, well, I just hope it doesn't have this. I'm just going to just lay out an attack. Prediction is a more of an educated guess. It's whatever information you gain beforehand to come up with that answer that has a better chance for you to be proven right, rather than just straight up guessing. So, for example, say if you're in a battle, they have 2 Pokemon left, you have 1 Pokemon left. Well, that Pokemon does have a Focus Sash because you already killed that Focus Sash Pokemon. That's one piece of information, one piece of knowledge that you have over them. Okay, so good. Then you could predict them to not switch into any other kind of bluff or anything else to just, that could potentially make them win. You could just bring out your Sleeper with your Choice Scarfer, and then boom, you could win the game. Going off that, I've said many times before, taking away from your opponent and gaining as much info as you can is the best thing you can do. I said that in the VGC video. Just try to just analyze what they got. Analyze what Pokemon. Try to analyze what possible moves they got. Try to always know what items they have. Take every note of what move they do, like, as it happens. And it is good to know that, but it is better to know which move or item the Pokemon doesn't have. Yes, you will know the standard moves. Yes, we all know Caesar will have a Bullet Punch. But if we know it doesn't have, like, an Acrobatics or anything else like a Roost, or we know it doesn't Mega Evolve, that could help out better. And it makes it easier to work around it with your Pokemon, because knowing what they just won't have is one thing that just won't stop or get in your way. It's like, okay, that Pokemon possibly has any kind of, like, say, Fighting type move. Or like the landers see that, like, okay, it could have superpower. Well, it doesn't have superpower. Well, then that thing's easy for me to take down. These little examples, I know they might be kind of just random, and I might be coming up with them on the spot, but I hope they kind of make a little sense. You cannot predict prediction. Moving in any kind of, like, I guess a second part on this. You cannot predict skill level also. Try not to think or assume that they are worse than you, because they could be thinking something else, One of the craziest things to always assume is just how good or bad they are before the battle even starts or before they make a move. Who knows? Whatever you do could help them out. You never know. It can either be really good or really bad. And know during the game that they will start trying to predict you at the very beginning and then try to outpredict you at any possible moment. Like I said before, whoever has more predictions right, like, just say, I got 2 predictions, so they're 1, you could win. So just try to always stay a step ahead, which is probably the one of the hardest things to do in a game, is trying to catch up when you're behind. I know at the beginning, like, at the beginning of a battle, like, a whole game can be determined from if that Pokemon, like, you turn to bring in somebody that you predicted them to not switch out, and you do a move that's not very effective, or not even, like, effective at all, then from then on you're behind. Then they totally got you on any kind of switches you do, and just know you're going to do that move and anything like that. Yes, luck could come in like, oh, that move missed, okay. And you could come back with crits, anything like that. But you trying to catch up will have to probably rely on good decision making on what moves you should do. And taking some risks could also help. Prediction and risk taking go a bit hand in hand, because you could predict, well, he's going to switch out, and I'm just going to hope he doesn't, going to take a big risk and just go for this move and hope he doesn't do anything else, do anything, I wouldn't do. Which could work out, who knows? Or he could just make a mistake. You could always capitalize on any mistakes they make. But whoever has more knowledge throughout the whole battle will increase the probability of winning and you being right on that prediction. And, whoever is just more right wins. The best thing I can say is just keep your mind open and just don't let any move go unnoticed, and just try not to give up most of the time. That's kind of a little cheesy for me to say. Now, there are two kinds of players. During the battle, like I said, you could outpredict, and there's going to be a time where you just won't really care about prediction. That is another thing about prediction. There's going to be that move. It's like, well, I'm just going to hit him with this Flare Blitz. The rest of his team is neutral damage. This guy's super effective. I'm just going to do it. I have nothing to lose. It's that nothing to lose mentality. You don't care about whatever he does. So that is really not a prediction. That's just you playing the game. That could really kind of act you. That might not work out, because then they could bring out a Pokemon with a certain item that you really weren't expecting, because you will know that the whole guy's team, or you might not even expect them to switch out. Who knows that like Flare Blitz was not very effective. You just weren't thinking straight. But that is a small risk to take, but you always want to try to take those risks that are, well, what I said before on the nothing to lose. You want to take those you've got nothing to lose risk, because there is a really good reward and just a bottom line, okay, well, that Pokemon's going to die anyways mentality, something like that. Just try to throw out anything you can do and, just see what happens, because like I said earlier, any kind of risk you take could just leave you into, coming back, and you could win. Now, I mentioned decision making before. Now, little on decision making, I guess you could tie this into prediction. One thing I've heard, and I've always liked this, is that it's always better to make that risky or maybe potential bad decision that who knows could pay off, and then have a good reasoning behind it afterwards, than to just not even know what to do, just to be indecisive. Better to make a bad decision to just have no decision at all. Just sitting there for a while, making a random play, just like switching out for no reason, knowing that they were going to hit you with a super effective move and then you stayed in. That is being indecisive. That's you not knowing what to do at all. And you always got to just try to hope that you don't fall into that mentality like you're just dumbfounded, you just don't know what to do, you're just sitting there like what do I do? You never want to be into that. And then that kind of ties into decision making, because you always want to think out every single play you can do, because who knows, that play you kind of thought at like the last moment might be your best play, and who knows, that first play you thought about that seemed kind of straightforward might not be the best play to also do. So making your risky decision might have a chance of you working out, coming back, anything like that. And who knows, you could win. So that's just a little bit. I know prediction's just such a two-way street, obviously. You never can be 100% right. Decision making also, you can never make the right or best decision 100% of the time. You can always make bad decisions. But just some things to just think about on how you go about it. Just always be smart about it. Always think. Always try to gain knowledge. You can gain knowledge outside of the game too. Just knowing what Pokemon are hot at the time, what Pokemon's like moves they could possibly have, anything like that. So always try to gain knowledge. Always try to learn as much as the game as possible, because that just ties into your overall skill. And I always talked about your overall skill could be many things, and this is one of the things that could help you improve as a player. not for me totally, but it's just the little advice you can just get. Just always just try to have an open mind, and I guess that's the best way I can say it. Who knows?